Mhm, mhm. Good evening, guys. And I feel like a right wreck tonight, you know. I tell you, honestly, I really do.
I think I can
Anyway,
probably echo your sentiment there.
yeah, oh gosh, I don't know what's happening. I need makeup or something. Anyway, guys, thank you very much co- for Coca-Cola. Sorry, I've got a
Tuning
sweet mug
in.
off. Yeah, tune it in, that's it. How do you tune the fish? You just tune them in. Anyway, okay,
Oh,
guys. Yeah. Anyway, as you know, at past eight every Saturday, it's Robert's time here. Hey Rob, I'll tell you what we're going to. I want to talk about something. You probably got something planned too, because you always surprise me every week. But I want to talk to you about something. You know the social services now. I don't know if you've seen it, but social services are actually saying to people that you do not have to pay, or people don't have to pay, or sell their house to go into care.
well, that's what I think we mentioned it last week. This
Mm,
is what I suddenly understood because it was clearly, I clearly understood, and I had it said to me, I don't know how many times, that it was assets that counted. So
mm,
once you hit £23,000, then you could start claiming. But now I'm told, and I think it must be a change of the law. I mean, I haven't read this new care
mm.
law or whatever it is, but it's only if you're in a care home. If you're living at home and you've still got your house, once you're down to 23,000, then you can claim. So as far as I can see, that means you don't have to sell your house.
No, and that's it. And why should people do that, Rob? You know what I mean?
Oh, I do. I think the whole thing's. I mean, it's. I mean, when people say, "Well, these people have got houses. Why should why should they keep hold of their houses?" But I mean, it's the same as a lot of things. I mean, my family somebody in my family got into genealogy. If you remember about 10 years ago, I think it was everybody was doing their genealogy, and but I always knew that my great grandfather and grandmother started business in 1844. They opened a chandlery in Old Street in Hoxton, and I actually was, if you remember, the Insulate Britain started a bit of trouble in Old Street the other day, however long that was ago, 2 weeks. And so I just reminded myself, and it's the eastern end of Old Street, which is Hoxton, and we started in business there in 1844. I mean, in all fairness, I mean, because then their son became tailors, and then his son was my grandfather who started the electrical business. I mean, we of course we're going to have a bit of money. So not because we got it from the sky, but we worked hard for all those years. Why should Because my mother is well, she's 102 now, and she's why should I have to spend all the money? Because I spent a long time looking after her. It's not as if I moved in here in 2005 and she had dementia then, although the doctors didn't recognize it. So why should people who've worked not just all their lives, but through a history of their family,
Mm.
why should they lose all the money? Because I mean, I think it's £31,000 so far we've spent, I've paid, looking after her. So I don't think it's entirely fair to say just because people have got money, they shouldn't have the benefits of the social state. Or
Mm.
we've all paid tax.
Yeah.
I've paid tax. My mother paid tax. My family, my grandfather must have paid a lot of tax.
How about this one then,
So
Rob?
I don't.
How about this then, Rob? How about this? Um, if you are earning over £73,000, you're not entitled to NHS treatment.
Hmm. I don't know really. I think that the whole idea was that it was universal. And I mean, if you're earning 73,000, you're paying tax on that. I mean, people should remember, people still pay 40% tax over, what is it, 55,000? I don't even know, to be honest.
Yeah,
But that,
55. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's still, you're paying 40% tax on everything you earn over 55,000. So, you're putting quite a lot of money into it. So I don't
yeah,
really get that. I mean, either it's universal or it isn't. And I mean, it's supposed to be universal, and I think that everyone should get um, free NHS at the point of use.
yeah.
That's my feeling about it.
Okay, how about this one? Um, I'm just chucking stuff at you tonight. I hope you don't mind. Um,
No,
where is it?
saves me
To
thinking of anything.
26, 26 members of parliament was caught napping while in the Houses of Parliament, right?
Yeah.
Each member gets paid £300 per visit, and while they were napping or on their phones.
What
What
do
do
I
you
think of
reckon?
that? Well, I have to say that I do know a lot of politicians. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a frontline politician myself, but I do know, a lot of them. Uh, and I have known several MPs. And I mean, I have to say, it's a difficult job. It's not like it was in the 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s when, these days it's a pretty arduous job. And I mean, they always say, when the Parliament goes into recess, they're on holiday. I mean, they've got parliamentary work to do, in the
Yeah, yeah.
constituency. So,
But the trouble is, Rob, what you got to realise is, soon you go in and sit down in Parliament, you are representing the country
I
and the
completely
Queen,
agree.
and you shouldn't be falling asleep, should you?
No, no, I completely agree. I would fall asleep. So that's one reason why I shouldn't be a politician. I fall asleep in front of the television now. But yeah, I mean, I see that as a reasonable criticism, but I'm not damning. I don't think we should get into this. No politicians are to be trusted and they're all lazy so and so's doing it. I don't buy into that at all. I
Mm,
think being an MP, I know being an MP is a very tricky job. There are a lot of people that need stuff done for them, and I have some sympathy for them. But no, they shouldn't be
yeah.
falling asleep in Parliament. Of course, they shouldn't. Somebody should wake them up anyway.
Mm,
Somebody shouldn't elbow them in the ribs.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
But no,
and they get £300. You
oh, in
know.
the House of Lords, yeah, they
Yeah.
get £300. I think there are issues with the House of Lords. I must say. I mean,
Mm,
there are 800 of them, aren't there?
mm,
I don't think there should be 800 of them. A lot of them don't turn up, it has to be said. But there
mm,
again, there are a lot of hard-working Labour and Lords
mm,
peers. I mean, I do watch, believe it or not, I do watch a lot of Parliament, BBC Parliament TV. I really do. And
right.
there are a lot of peers that actually do work very hard. Because I mean, I don't know if you know, or our listeners will know, or our viewers, but the way the Lords works now is that they take up a lot of the work of scrutinising bills, and parliamentary acts and all that kind of stuff. So they just do a lot of it is just basic administrative, not administrative, but scrutinizing work.
Mm,
So they do perform a function.
mm,
Um, my local MP Connor Burns has persuaded me of that, and I mean I'm inclined to believe it, but I do think it needs some form of reform. I have to say, and I mean,
mm,
but 300 quid a day is not bad, is it?
right. Um, then they then, but the trouble is not. It's just not in the House of Lords. It's in Parliament as well.
Well, I mean, Peter Bottomley, the father of the house, was complaining the other day, wasn't he, that £82,000 wasn't enough to be an MP. But a managing director of your average small business, gets at about 82,000, 75,
Mm,
80, 85,000. I think it's actually the fact that the others get paid too much. I mean, I know. I mean, some of these people in the local authorities who get 250,000. I mean, that's way too much. I mean, I don't believe you can't get. You know that you have to pay people that much. I mean, if you work for the authority, if you work in public service, you shouldn't expect so much, should you? Because
Yeah.
you're doing it, and you also a lot of these people get pensions. I mean, I've worked as self-employed, run my own gig, all my life. I don't get paid an extra pension. You just get it's what you can save. So they do. I think a lot of them get paid too much, and so therefore MPs are sitting there thinking, I only get £82,000. I'm not
Wow.
so sure. I think £82,000 is a lot of money,
Mm.
and I think you'll agree.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Okay. There's another story. A professional footballer was being paid £750 per week in Division Three of the Football League, which is Division Two actually.
Yeah.
£750 a week. Other footballers in the same division and the same team were being paid £3,000 per week.
Mm,
Um, but because of his age, 17 and a half,
mm,
right? He's got to wait until he's 18 until he gets a full kind of like £3,000.
mm.
So what he did was he said he's not going to play. So he sat in the dugout, stripped naked in the dugout.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think he had the right to protest?
The right what?
Did he have the right to protest?
Not really. I think, £750 a week is quite a lot, really. I think. I mean, what's the
I wish
basic,
I was get. I wish I was getting £750 a week.
Well, I think so. I mean, it is true. And what people do tend to forget, it's a bit like showbiz, being a performing artist. You can have a relatively short working life.
Mm,
So I think people sometimes do forget that, and so and then when they're not wanted anymore, they can have big problems. I mean, we're beginning to hear about it now. Even people like Jimmy Greaves, really struggled when he couldn't play anymore, and they all hit the booze. Well, they all, they can get into sort of bad state of mind. But I don't know. I've never really been. I mean, it's easy for me to say because I come from that kind of family where I was the second son of the first. I was the spare, So, and we had businesses, and so money has never been a big incentive for me personally. My incentive is doing what I want to do. But if you come from a very situation where maybe there wasn't so much money around, maybe money is a big motivation, and such things would make you, I can't really put myself in his shoes and think to myself, if I do this, that's what I should do. It's very tricky. I personally, if you love the game, you'd play, wouldn't you?
yeah, yeah. There you go.
That's
Um,
what I think.
yeah, Lewisham, Lewisham City Council
Oh, yeah.
are actually going to charge you to kind of take the rubbish away, right? £165 per month.
Hey,
Yep. Lewisham
160.
City,
What
Lewisham
in
City Council going to get their residents to pay £165 to get their rubbish
is
removed
on top of the council tax?
on top of the council tax. Yep.
Well, I mean, the council tax is more than anything is supposed to get rid of your rubbish, I thought. But I
Well, that's
mean,
what I thought.
yeah, I mean that sounds ridiculous to me. Yeah, definitely. I
Yeah,
don't know what game they're playing there.
yeah. I think it's all
I,
about money these days, though, isn't it?
well, it does seem to that mean. But I mean, if there's one thing the council has to do, and what we pay council tax for, and that is surely to get the rubbish taken away. But then there's all that rubbish piling up in Brighton, isn't there? Because
Yeah,
of some
yeah, yeah.
issues. I mean, because I don't know. I mean, do you remember the Winter of Discontent?
No, go on.
No, that was 1978. And when all the rubbish piled up and dead bodies were piling up, it was ridiculous. I must admit, I think it was more in places like London and stuff like that. I didn't particularly experience it, but the that's the cat running around the place. I think if there's one thing the council tax pays for, it's people that have their rubbish taken away. So no, I don't agree with the £165 extra. No.
No, I've got last one here. You laugh at this
Oh,
one.
all right.
You laugh at this one.
Yeah.
What was it? A bloke went out of his home. Um, the Norfolk Gas was doing repairs in the middle of the road.
Mm.
This elderly bloke, 80,
Mm.
fell in the manhole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not funny. Well, yeah, it's
Well,
not
hang on
funny.
for a second. Fell in the manhole. When they came around, when the workmen came around, they actually managed to get him out. But all of a sudden, what happened was there was a metal bar actually waiting. It was actually inserted into this old man's leg.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if you heard about it, but anyway,
no.
so he made a claim, and to the county, he started going to the county court. Then he went higher, and now he's gone to the higher court, and
My
they
God.
gave him £1.5 million
All right.
for compensation.
Mm.
Right,
Yeah. Fair.
right. So
Sounds.
£1.5 million.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sounds.
6 months later, he was
Yeah.
he was in a casino and he lost it all.
That makes me laugh.
Yeah. But why? If I had £1.5 million, I won't go to a casino and lose it all. Yeah.
If there's one thing that I don't agree with, it's gambling. It's
Yeah.
the only thing that I think people should be free to do what they want. I mean, drink, smoke, climb up mountains. You can do anything you like, really. I mean, that's what a free society is all about. But I do think gambling is really the most silly thing that anyone ever thought of. Obviously, the people who make the money out of it don't think so, but I just don't see why people gamble. I mean, obviously, I know why. It's the adrenaline, isn't it? It's the
Oh
excitement.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's why they do it. I mean, I mean, I mean, I've never gambled. I wouldn't gamble. I would invest it. If I was going to do anything with the money, I'd invest it in something that I made money out of. But I guess it's just the adrenaline. Because look at Las Vegas. I mean, I've always been
Yeah,
baffled by Las
I was
Vegas.
going to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all those people going in there and just sticking money in, that they should know better. That they
They
must
get
know
ripped
they're
off
not
too,
going to.
don't they?
Eh?
They probably get ripped off too.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of weird things they do as well. Particularly if you're, I mean, there's that. Do you remember that guy that shot all those people in Las Vegas about? Is it 2 years ago? And do you remember it was some kind of country and western concert or something? And he got it. It was in one of the hotels, and he went into one of the rooms and started machine gunning all the people down below. And I happened to see a program about it, and it was because he had been losing in the casinos. He was a rich bloke, and he'd been losing the casino because they give you concessions. If you spend a lot of money in the casino, they give you reduced rates on your rooms and all sorts of stuff, free meals and all this kind of stuff. And because he'd been losing or something, I don't know, they didn't give him any concessions, something like that. And so he got so angry, he shot everybody. I mean, that's but, but I mean, all these stories of people, they go in and lose all their money and become destitute and all this kind of stuff. And also, particularly, I mean, I think it's just as bad I mean, all these, betting shops that have appeared on the high streets, and
Oh
they u-
god. Yeah.
and they usually appear in areas of less affluent areas. And so I guess there are kind of young men, and I think it's principally men, from what I can understand. And they go in and they just try their luck. They're seeing if they can make money, and and they just end up losing it. And if they're married, it causes I just can't see why anybody does it. I really can't. You'd be better buying a Gibson ES3 335 and leaving it under the bed and making a profit. Oh, look who's coming along. Hello, sorry about that. Apparently, it's very fashionable to have animals walking around in your. But no, gambling. I mean, you can say, well, he deserved it. I mean, my grandmother used to have a flutter on, things like the Cheltenham horse race, but she put 5 shillings on it. I mean, it
Yeah, yeah.
wasn't like it.
How about the Grand National? Do you bet the Grand National?
I don't gamble. I just don't think. I just don't
No.
agree with it at all. If I was to ban anything, which I guess I wouldn't ban it, but if I was to ban anything, I would just ban gambling. Full stop. I really
I'm a
would.
fan horse racing, I would.
Well, I mean, I can kind of see horse racing as it's nice to watch the horses. I guess people would say it's probably cruel. I don't know what they say. I don't. I mean, I don't follow it. But gambling, no. If horse racing had to go because with a ban on gambling, then so be it. But I really, as I think everyone's heard, but I really don't agree with gambling. I think it's. Did you know? We probably didn't, but because I'm very big on probability, risk management and all this decision making, this and the first books on probability were on gambling. Because there was a big about 1750. I don't know if anyone's seen the film Barry Lyndon. When they had the big wigs, and the men had beauty spots and wore, and all that. That's when card games became popular and gambling. And I know there was gambling before, but it became a real. Charles Dickens' father went to prison for gambling debts. That's why Charles Dickens ended up in the factory and, whatever. But the first books on probability were actually about gambling. So at least there's something good that came out of gambling. But no, I mean, the mere story of Charles Dickens, his father worked in Portsmouth in the naval dockyards, and the whole fashion was playing cards and that sort of thing. And, poor Charles Dickens had to go and work in the blacking factory. And he was the only one there that was literate, even though he was only 12. And he used to write on the labels to say what it was, shoe blackener. And he saw all these terribly poor people and all that stuff, which led him to write the books. His uncle happened to be a publisher. And he got his father out of prison. I think they left him in there a while to teach him a lesson. But Marshalsea prison, that would have been. But no, gambling. No.
There you go. Thank you so much, Rob.
That's great. That was a
I'll
nice,
see you
relaxed
next week.
chat. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll see you later then. Bye.
I'll let you talk next week.
Yeah?
Yeah. Come up with something. Let me know.
All right, then I'll come up with something. Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
And see you later.
All right. See you later. Bye. Thanks. Bye.